Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Douglas from Bluewaves Water Sports. I'm here today to give you a briefing about the information you will need when you're renting our boat. So all different types of boats have different types of compartments. The compartments are used for stowing equipment, personal belongings, and also safety equipment, life jackets, life rings. On the day of your rental, we'll give you a briefing of the specific boat that you've rented, and we'll show you where all the equipment is in those compartments. For example, in this compartment here, we have the life rings. Here you have the anchor compartment. You open with the lock. Inside you will find your anchor, 3 meters of chain and 50 meters of rope. And in a separate compartment on both sides of the boat we have our life jackets. This one I'll show you how to put on. So here you have your life jacket. To put it on, we need to open the buckle with these 2 clips. We put our left hand inside the strap and the life jacket over our head. We can extend the buckle, bring the buckle around and clip it in. Make sure it's nice and tight and secure. So in this compartment here we have a powder fire extinguisher.
How to use a dry powder extinguisher. This is a dry powder extinguisher, sometimes referred to as a dry chemical extinguisher. It is easily identified by its colour, red with a white band. It contains a powdered substance that, when discharged, can be used on most classes of fires, including flammable solids, flammable liquids, and equipment connected to an electrical source. To operate a dry powder extinguisher, as with most types of fire extinguishers, remember the PASS acronym. P. Pull the pin. A. Aim the nozzle. S. Squeeze the trigger. S. Sweep the fire. Pull the pin, hold the extinguisher upright, twist the pin to break the seal, then pull the pin to release the trigger mechanism. Aim the nozzle, stand back from a safe distance. Aim the nozzle at the base of the flames. Squeeze the trigger, grip the trigger so that the upper and the lower parts of the trigger are pressed together. The contents of the extinguisher will start to discharge. Sweep the fire. Sweep the nozzle in a side-to-side manner. Aim the nozzle under the flames. Only use a fire extinguisher if it is safe to do so.
Also, we have the manual bilge pump. To use this, you pop the pipe outside of the boat and pump like so. We have an emergency box. In here we have some emergency equipment. This box is sealed, only to be opened when and if needed. So let's have a look what's inside the box. So to open the box, we need to just pull firmly on the seal. Alright, open the box. The first thing you will see inside the box is your commercial vessel certificate. This is here for any reason you may be stopped. You have all the details of the vessel you are on. Also, you have a first aid kit, a pair of binoculars, a torch, one smoke flare, and 2 handheld flares. Now we'll show you how to use these now.
When you're out in a boat on semi-protected or unprotected waters, you need to carry flares and know how to use them. It is an offence to discharge a flare for practice, but we've gained special permission today to show you how to use an orange smoke flare, which is a daytime use flare and can be seen for up to 4 kilometres. But before we do that, here's some information to keep in mind about flares. Make sure you store them in a waterproof container. And check the expiry date on the flare. A flare will last 3 years from the date of manufacture, so make sure that you check the date. It is an offence to carry an expired flare, so make sure that your expired flares are returned to a police station. And remember, a flare can cause injury and is a one-use item. Try and use your marine radio or another form of communication first. If you do need to use it, wait until you can see another vessel and keep one in reserve to guide your rescuers. To use this type of flare, hold it firmly by the base and remove this orange cap. You then pull firmly on this tab. And then you hold it high in the air and downwind until it's finished. When it's finished, it will be very hot, so don't throw it into your boat. Place it in a bucket of water.
The Comet 3-minute orange smoke is a daylight-only distress alerting signal, position marker and wind direction indicator for SAR helicopter pilots. It is normally deployed from a life raft. Remove the plastic cap and, pointing the top away from your body, pull the tab firmly away from the canister. Keep your hand away from the hot end and throw the live smoke overboard immediately. After a 2-second delay, a dense, highly visible orange smoke will be emitted for a minimum of 3 minutes while the canister floats on the water's surface.
On this particular boat, we have a GPS and also we have a radio. This has Bluetooth. We'll show you how to use these on the day of your rental. So here you have the control box, you have the switch panel, the instruments and the steering. So this is your steering wheel. It's basically the same as a car. We'll explain more about how to maneuver the vessel when we take you on the test drive of your day of rental. Here you have the switch panel for this specific type of boat. You have a freshwater pump. That's for the shower. Shower is here, located at the back of the boat. Varies on different types of boat though. Maybe on this side, or maybe on this side. Here you have the horn. Navigation lights, which you won't need because your rental period's during the daytime. The bilge pump is automatic, and the instruments, as mentioned before. So this is your control box. On the box you will notice F for forward, N for neutral and R for reverse. Here you have your throttle stick. You will notice it will not move out of neutral unless you pull the red button. Then you can move it forward into the forward gear. The more you press it forward, the faster you will go. Now to put it into reverse, we do not press the red button. We just bring the lever back into neutral and then press the red button and pop it into the reverse gear. The more you push down, the more it will go reverse. We never leave it in gear, so now we're going to pop it back into neutral. It clicks, give it a check, and then we're safe. Another feature of the control box is the fast idle. This type of engine that we use, we don't need the fast idle because it's all automatic. If for any reason the fast idle is up, the throttle will not engage into gear. So please make sure it's always down and then the throttle will be able to engage. Here you have the trim buttons for the engine. Up and down. If I press the up button, the engine will go up. If you press the down button, the engine will go down. It's important to leave the engine down throughout the day. Even when you're on anchor, leave the engine down. The only time when you're going to bring the engine up a little bit is when you're in very shallow water. Even when you trim the engine up, make sure that the propeller is always under the surface of the water, otherwise you're not going to be able to have any maneuverability. The propeller should never be out of the water like this. The reason is the cooling system won't work properly and you'll damage the engine.
Being struck by a moving propeller, also known as propeller strike, poses the greatest risk of serious injury to a person in the water near any small boat. It is below the waterline and not readily visible. Keep this in mind and keep well clear of it. It can injure, disfigure, and kill someone. If a person falls overboard, turn the engine off immediately.
Propeller intervention and awareness. To minimize the potential of someone being struck by the propeller, take these precautions. Never run the engine while people are boarding or unboarding. Make sure everyone on board is seated properly before starting the engine. Do not allow passengers to stand, sit on the transom, gunnels, seatbacks, or bow while underway. Do not operate close to people in the water, including swimmers, skiers, divers, etc. Keep a sharp lookout.
Here we have the kill switch, and here we have the kill cord. To attach the kill cord to the kill switch, place the cord in front of the switch and switch the silver switch forward. In the event of an emergency of any kind, the kill cord will come out and the switch will turn off and the engine will turn off. If by accident you switch the switch forward without the kill cord, remove the key and place the key into the small hole, and your switch will return to the off position, and then you can reattach the kill cord and we're good. It's very important to attach the kill cord to your person before operating the vessel, as you never know what's going to happen at sea. Now, to attach it to your arm may cause problems with the steering, so we advise to attach it to your body on your waist. This way it's nice and secure and it's out of the way of any instruments. Here you have the key. You put the key into the keyhole. What's important is the key is all the way up. If it's out slightly like this, the key will not turn, and if you force it, it will break the key. All the way up, twist, and the engine is on. Now to turn the engine off, you just twist the key in the opposite direction. To start the engine, we need to make sure the kill switch is in place and the throttle is in neutral. Then the engine will start. Now if we do not have the kill switch, the engine will not start. If the throttle is in gear, the engine will not start. So please make sure we are in neutral, kill switch is in place, and the engine will start. The most important thing when you're on the sea is observation. You always need to be aware of your surroundings. If you're going forward, you need to concentrate going forward. If you're in reverse, you need to look where you're going. There could be swimmers, there could be divers, there could be other boats. Everyone needs to be seated down so that it gives you a good field of view, okay? If you're having trouble seeing, not a problem, stand up and that will give you a further view, okay? So we're all ready to go. First thing we need to do is turn on the engine. Now the engine can be quite quiet, so if you want to check whether the engine is on, you can have a look at the rev counter here. There's also the rope at the back. It's very important that you keep this rope tied to the boat. If the rope comes loose, it can get caught in the propeller, can damage the rope, can damage the propeller, and you won't be able to maneuver the boat. So now, as you can see, the ropes are secured front and back. When we're on our way, we leave the jetty, we need to put the fenders inside the boat, okay? We need to reverse off the jetty, so I'm going to check the area behind, make sure it's nice and clear. There's no obstacles, no dangers. I'm going to place the control box into reverse whilst checking behind me all the time. I look from right to left. So now we're underway. Very important to remember to bring the fenders inside the boat. I'm paying attention in the direction I'm going. I'm looking straight ahead. You will see in this clip that the nose of the boat, the bow, is riding high from the surface of the sea. This is probably because your engine is a little bit high, so trim the engine down, gain some speed, and the bow comes down. This will affect your field of view. You'll be able to see a lot better. Remember, driving at high speed can be dangerous, especially if you're driving behind another boat. You can hit the wake, which is the waves of that boat, cause injury to yourself and damage to the boat. Best to drive nice and slowly and responsibly in areas with other boats and near the shore. A very important rule we have is never to leave your boat unattended at any time. You never know what will happen to the anchor or anything. If you want to stop somewhere and go to shore, let us know in the office in the morning, and we can give you the numbers of the people that will taxi you to shore. They will look after your boat for a small fee, and they will pick you up and take you back to the boat afterwards. And off you go. You will notice the wind direction is heading towards shore. If you were to anchor here, the wind would push you into the shore, damage the boat, and also possibly cause injury to yourselves. It's much better to anchor on the other side where the wind will push you away from the shore. Always make sure that when you anchor, you are not around any other boats. Make sure your boat is facing the wind. Have a look on your left side, have a look on your right side, make sure you're clear of boats. Then, safe to do so, open the anchor compartment and we can place the anchor. To put the anchor in the sea, place it over the roller as shown, being careful not to damage the boat. Once the chain has gone, we need to calculate the amount of rope with the depth of the sea. Calculate with your arms per meter as we go down. Once the anchor has hit the bottom and the rope is loose, you give another 3 times the depth of the rope. The reason you put 3 times the amount of rope than there is depth is so the chain and the rope can lie on the floor and the anchor can dig into the sand. This helps to keep the boat where it is. If you don't put enough rope down, the anchor will act like this. As you can see, without putting enough rope down, the anchor can't grip the sand. This will make your boat drift. Once your anchor is secure, you can shut the anchor compartment, but do be careful, the rope is over the roller and it goes through the cutout on the front of the door. This will make sure it doesn't give any damage to the anchor compartment door. When tying the anchor line to the boat, make a figure of 8 around the cleat like this and store the ropes safely. For example, here is your anchor, 3 meters of chain, 50 meters of rope, and the float at the end. The anchor chain is not tied to the boat, so it's very important you securely tie it to the cleat in the figure of 8 position as shown before. Not doing so will result in anchor loss and you will drift. So we've shown you the procedure with the anchor, so what we need to do now is make sure that the boat is not drifting. We need to make sure the anchor is holding the seabed nice and securely. While we're doing that, everyone needs to remain seated. The engine needs to be left on and in the neutral position. Okay? When you have noticed that the boat is not drifting anymore, it's safe to do so. We can turn off the engine. Before you get into the water, we need to deploy the ladder. It's because some boats, it's very difficult to reach the ladder and to pop it down if you're in the water already. When getting into the water, try not to climb down the ladder into the water. If you slipped, you could hurt yourself on one of the steps. The best way is to climb around over the back, sit down on the platform, put your hands here and just push yourself off into the sea. Another way you can stand here and jump, do make sure you always jump away from the boat. When you're ready to move, it's important that you make sure everyone is on the boat, seated, okay? You need to bring the ladder up. This is very important to remember because if it's left in the sea, it can damage the ladder with the pressure of the water. So now we're ready to leave. So we need to bring the anchor up. Before we can do that, we need to check a few things. The ladder is up, the fenders are in, and everyone is on the boat seated. Once we've checked that, we can start the engine with the key on the control box. Now we need to retrieve the anchor. We open the anchor compartment, untie the rope from the cleat, once you have the anchor, take off any brass and stow the anchor back in the anchor compartment as shown. That's all, folks. And may the force be with you.